And that will be the main theme for your 3 activities today. Okay, the theme will be goodbye to the sit-down meal. Okay, and we'll talk and discuss, and you will have to come up with activities for this lesson. And this is the topic. Okay, so you can read it, maybe read the vocabulary, what is it about, the picture. It's from this book. I use this book in the university, and I think it's a good book to practice, okay? But I just took some of the ideas from here, and I like that unit, so that's why I chose it.
North Star.
Yeah. Yeah, it is North Star 4. There's North Star 5, but I think that's the one that is, this is the maximum one that we saw in university. We saw North Star 1, 2, 3, 4. So, well, everyone welcome. And like I told you before, this is a review session for listening, is for the listening skill, and today we're going to work individually in your practicums. So the last part of our class, you will have 45 minutes for every one of you to present your plan for the unit that I just provided you. So we should get started. And why are we taking into consideration listening? We take listening into consideration because from the time that we communicate, that is 70%, 45% of the time we're listening, and the rest we're speaking. Listening is the activity that we cannot omit. We can say, I am not going to speak, I am not going to read, I am not going to write. But listening is something we cannot avoid doing. Yes? Well, maybe we cover our ears, but even so, sometimes you eventually hear something. So, listening is an activity that is difficult to teach. It's kind of hard, in fact, because it comes incorporated. But we can give students advice. We can give our learners strategies and relaxation methods or things like that, so they can have the most from their listening tests. To begin with, we're going to have a formative assessment. I would like you to go to this website. Be in your cell phones, please, not in the computer, cell phones. Go to, oh, you can use the computers, by the way, but if you want to use your cell phones, it's fine.
And it cannot be read.
Can you write
Cannot be read. Can you
Oh,
write it because the
yes, of
colors
course.
interrupt.
Sorry, I was not counting on the projector.
Yeah.
Socrative. In fact, I don't know why they call it Socrative, but it's Socrative for us. So that's the website, b.socrative.com.
creative?
Yes?
Maybe for creativity.
Maybe,
And
Socrative, yes. So I would like you to go to this website and you select that you're a student. This is the student login. And then they ask you for a room. My room is this one. It's my name with ones in betweens. A1, N1, D1, R1, yes?
Okay.
Should it that way or just your creativity?
It was my creativity, yes.
Your creativity.
I was trying to write other things like serial killer or things like that, but they didn't accept that. They said it was not educational. So you enter your name and then you begin. So you're waiting there in my room. You're waiting for me to come in with a quiz, right? Okay. So I'm waiting too. Oh, there. Okay, so I select, I have 2 quizzes. We're going to do the pre-assessment one. And here you can see, as teachers, we can create quizzes here. Let me erase this, I'm sorry. You can create your quiz. In this case, if I go back, I could show you a little bit of the tool. I have 2 quizzes. World Facts quiz, this is one I practiced with senior class. And I used their cell phones because we didn't have laptops. And the other one is listening pre-assessment. This is the one I created for today's assessment first. So you just click here, and here you have options: disable students' names, randomized question order, blah blah blah. I want to know your name, so I didn't turn this on. And then randomized question order, answer order, disable student feedback. I want to know the results, or I don't want to know the results. I do want to know the results. So here you should appear. You should write your names. there. Okay, I have JC. Who else is there? Carlito. So, I decided to give you the chance to go at your own pace, because there are 3 options here for the tests. You can go your own pace, like you finish the question, you go to the next one. The student can go at its own pace, but you don't receive feedback. All the questions that I have put have feedbacks. And my pace, the teacher controls what question you see and what question you don't, and when does she or he stop. So right now you're going to go your pace and begin answering all the questions. You have 7 questions, okay? So please begin answering the questions. I'll wait for you. You don't have more than 3 minutes for answering these questions. And then we'll go one by one. So, Miguel, you're, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
So, here you have the progress, 100% of progress, and here are the scores for the questions, okay? We could see questions one by one. The first question was, what is the purpose of the pre-listening section? That was question number 1. You answered to prepare students to listen, to ensure student success, to get students excited about listening, or A, B, and C. The answer is A, B, and C. It's for everything. Generally, our perception is that students are doing the pre-listening activities, if there is a pre-listening activities in the book, because we are preparing them just to listen. But we're preparing them for everything. We're preparing them to get them excited about the listening, to motivate them, to also demonstrate that they will be successful if they follow these steps, acquire new vocabulary, and learn more about their activities.
Can you tell
So,
me the 3 options again?
yes, the pre-listening section is, the purpose is to prepare students to listen, to ensure student success, and to get students excited about listening. Well, here you can get the reports. And here I can show you my quizzes, and you can download the quiz in PDF like I have it here, so we can see question by question in just the desktop, the typical. So here we have it. And again, is that good for you?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first question, and the answer was letter D. For the 3 things we should prepare our students to listen, okay? For the pre-listening section, we should prepare them to listen, to ensure their success, and to get them excited about listening. Second question, how many parts do you find in a pre-listening activity set? You find 3 parts, okay? And what are the 3 parts of the pre-listening? Generally, we think that pre-listening is just introducing vocabulary. And it's not only that. Sometimes we think that pre-listening is only discussing. And it's not only about that. Sometimes we want them to predict based on pictures. But it's not only about that. It's about the 3 things. Okay? It's about, think about, vocabulary, and predict. This is the answer. Okay? These are the 3 pre-listening activities that we should do before. Yes?
We always do it in the reading and writing courses. This is the sequence that the book follows.
Yes, correct, because these books are aimed for the new, like I said last class, that we're talking about Jeremy Harper, and this is like the new method, ESA. So pre-listening will be the E to get them into the activity. It will be the engagement, okay? Now, the engagement here is long, because the engagement has 3 activities in listening. Those 3 activities are think about, vocabulary, and predict, okay? Now, these pre-listening activities are not necessarily spoken or listening. It could be written, it could be read, they could be discussed, okay? As soon as we finish with the test, I will give you some suggestions on what to do in each pre-listening activity. On number 4, it says, in the while listening section, what is more important? To listen and take notes? To listen while reading the answers? To listen and mark the answers in the answer sheet, or to just listen? What do you think is the answer? The answer for number 4 is this one, letter D,
Just to
to
listen.
just listen. It is demonstrated that our students and us as English learners, we can listen for 2 minutes without losing concentration. More than 2 minutes will require notes. Generally, our tests from B2 level, like ELASH or ECCE, do not need the students to take notes because the conversations are very short and very understandable. Not only for us, for them too. Problem is that they are not used, they don't have the the auditory fluency. They don't have it. They don't know how to listen for more than a minute, and they don't understand. They don't get ideas. We have to prepare students to get the ideas. So sometimes, yes, we prefer to take notes, but when the listening audio file is more than 2 minutes. More than 2 minutes, obviously, any human will need to take notes. For example, when you're teaching TOEFL, in the TOEFL, it is recommended in every book to take notes because the lectures are 3 to 5 minutes. That is humanly impossible because you cannot listen to theoretical classes for more than 2 minutes without not taking notes on the topics and the subtopics, and then you have to elaborate on that and speak about it. But that's TOEFL. In the B2 level that we're teaching our students, it is not recommended to take notes. Even so, when you're teaching TOEFL, you should teach your students that they are not required to take notes. If they need to take notes, they should take notes of names, of topics, because they will see and they will get the main idea as they listen. Okay? It's not about taking notes and making a full page out of an academic lecture, but just to get the names or subsections or subtopics about something. Next question. To put into practice a while listening activity, which question should be answered? What will be the listening outcome? What are we listening to? Why do I want to practice, or which exercise is best for the test? Which do you think is the best question to prepare our while listening activity?
B.
Yes. B is the answer. What are we listening to? Yes. What are we listening to? What is the purpose of this? What are we going to listen to? So that is the question. If you want to create your own activities, obviously, generally we just do it from the book. Yes. But even the book, sometimes the activities from the books are not useful for our students. So sometimes we would prefer to come up with a new activity that replaces this activity that is not according to the outcome of the student. We know that sometimes the books are very useful because of their syllabus, because of their content, but sometimes the exercises don't go with our students' reality. Number 6, how many types of exercises exist in the while listening section? 1, 2, 3, or as many as you can come up with. It depends on your creativity. The while listening section should have 3 exercises, okay? And we're going to explore what the 3 exercises are later as time goes by today, okay? Now, what is the purpose of the post-listening activities? This is a very interesting thing I also learned while I was coming up with these questions. A, to check answers and give feedback. B, to give feedback. C, to assess speaking by reporting on the listening experience. Or D, to check if the information was understood and if it's likely to be used in the future. The answer was letter D. Post-listening for us, generally for me, 2 days ago, it meant checking the answers and giving feedback. Feedback for me is telling the answers and telling them why this is the correct answer. For the experts, post-listening activities not only checking the answers, but also seeing that this information that you're using will be used in the future or will be used in the same lesson for other purposes, not only the listening purposes. It's not like, okay, you listen and then let's go to the reading. is you listen. Okay, what did you get from that? I learned the word over column. Okay, how would you use the word over column? That's how it's the post-listening activities should be done. Okay. This is a special question, especially for people that are teaching listening courses or that are including listening in their modules. For example, if you're teaching grammar, you have a little module of listening, a little activity. But that activity is only the activity, but it doesn't have a background. So when they do the activity, the students say, Miss, can you repeat again? Miss, I repeat one more time. I didn't get the answers. Yes? So we are not preparing our students to listen. We're just telling them to do, because listening for us is another activity. But it's not an activity. Listening is a skill. So we should practice that skill a little bit more. Well, so those are the questions that that were included in the plan. I am going to give you now to proceed. I'm not sure if Miss Lynn is coming, so we should continue. Well, that's so creative. And this is what we were doing. We're going to do a little activity called a joke. It's a joke. And it's called A Walk with a Lion. So, it's not Leo Lion, it's another lion. Here. We're going to do this activity here. This activity includes the 3 sections for listening. You can use a pen. If you don't have one, I can provide one for you. You have a pen? Yeah, have a pen? So you can see in the worksheet, it says joke, a walk with a lion. That is the topic. Okay, it's a topic. So I am going to discuss a reading? No, I'm going to listen to a joke. Okay? Pre-listening activities. First, think about, make a list of the things that make you laugh. Please, let's write 4 things that make you laugh. What makes you laugh? What are the things that make you laugh? Don't worry, you won't share that with anyone. It's just to make you think about things that make you laugh. Maybe you laugh when a person falls. Yeah, that's very normal. We try not to laugh, but we do. We try. And then we help. And when your friend comes up with a funny video, yes, that makes you laugh. Generally, funny videos about your career and your students, yes, that makes you laugh. Do you have the 4 ideas? Yes? Okay, please share with me from the 4 ideas, share 2. It's fine. Let's share 2 ideas. Tony, what are your 2 ideas?
Okay, when somebody laughs as well.
Okay, and another idea?
And when I watch comedies.
Okay, ask Miguel, please.
Okay, what are your ideas?
One, when I watch just for laughs, for example. That's
Right.
YouTube.
Yes, it's very funny.
Yeah, I like to watch those videos, and also when somebody falls.
It's true. But it's true, it's true.
That's not okay.
I know, it's
You're
not
supposed
okay.
to help not to laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, you laugh first and then you help. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you help. Okay, please, ask Juanqui.
What about you, Lisa? What makes you
Well,
laugh?
when I surf the internet, I usually laugh when I see some funny names.
Okay.
I guess there are another thing is called photobombs.
Yes?
In some situations that people are taking pictures and something is behind that is not, it shouldn't be there.
Right,
Oh,
that's
okay,
very
okay.
funny. Yeah, it's true. It's very funny. Ask please for Leo. Ask Leo.
Can you, what makes you laugh?
When I hear a funny joke, a good joke, when I see a funny movie.
Okay, very good. Please ask Carlos.
What makes you laugh?
Okay, when I watch comedies, sometimes when I watch Barcelona.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Sensible topic.
No
It's a sensible topic. Okay, well let's continue. Ask
What
Leo.
makes you laugh?
Yeah. The same reasons.
When you watch Barcelona?
Funny movies and,
Oh.
no. Funny movies and watching another person laughing.
Right, right. Very good. We'll move on to the next activity. Activity number 2, predicting. What would make a lion funny? What would make a lion funny for you? What would make a lion funny?
A trend line.
Yes, a trim lion, perfect.
Yeah,
What else?
same, I'm thinking about.
Trim lion? Maybe another colored lion? Maybe a purple lion? Yes?
Yeah.
Could you make
Yeah.
like a lion with some cartoons on the back? Or maybe a lion that has look at the legs. You can talk about their legs, like small legs. Or a lion that is hi Angel, a lion that is
Or a lion with a funny road.
right, or a lion that can roar like a dog.
Or a lion with your own face.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so please write your ideas there. Here, they want you to draw a funny lion, okay? You don't have to draw right now. For time's sake, we're going to avoid drawing. But our students generally think that this is boring, but when you tell them to draw, they get the most out of the drawing. I'm not sure why. And for example, sometimes, you have seen El Chavo del Ocho, right?
Yeah.
And I draw, for example, I tell them draw a pig. And I draw the pig, the Chavo del Ocho style. They're like, oh, Miss, that's a horrible pig. I can do it better. So sometimes when you set the example, your students could be challenged and do something better. For now, I'm not planning on drawing a lion because my lions are horrible. I tried yesterday and I said, I'm not drawing a lion today. Definitely not. So, that's the pre-listening activity. And already we have completed two. Think about and predicting. Now vocabulary. It says review these words: police officer, lion, reply, zoo, and movies. How could you review vocabulary? This is just, I wrote it here. I could do an activity, but how could you review vocabulary in class? Not only writing another word. Tell me another idea. How could you review?
It could be like asking our students to explain the word, say a sentence.
Say a sentence? Yes, very good. That's a good
By
idea.
showing a picture and asking to tell me what they see.
Excellent. Showing pictures. Very
Something
good.
related.
Excellent. What about charades? Have you played charades with your students? The one with the cell phone? Yeah? Well, if you play charades,
You like that?
I love it.
You do?
Charades is one of my favorite games to play in classroom. It's very good for vocabulary, and you can have, here you can see quick play and versus play. So if you have 5 spare minutes, just 5 minutes, you can have them, all their attention will be on these. So I didn't prepare one of these, but I'm going to choose one that would be similar. And let me see, Animal Kingdom. So you place this in your forehead.
That's the idea. Why did you put it here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's the idea is that I don't see the picture. I don't see the words. So let me just. Okay, so you can see this, and you have to tell me ideas. What is this about? Tell me. Don't tell me the name. Tell me an idea.
Color of the
Color blue.
I can repeat.
Flags.
A kind of fish.
Catfish?
No.
A drink
What's that
by
called?
without
Yeah,
a
that's
word.
right, yes.
Oh my
It's a
God.
marlin, yeah.
I don't know. So if I don't know,
Can I
I
say the name of a drink that starts with the letter M?
M.
I can say that, the letter M.
M. Yes. Yeah, you can say that.
That's what
Pass it,
word.
pass it, pass it.
So I pass it. I go up
Yeah,
Okay.
and go with the next one. Up.
It's down, it's okay. It's
Yes.
up.
yeah.
Okay.
So and so on and so on and so on. So for example, shrimp. Like the students can say, "What do you eat in ceviche?" And you're like, "Oh my God, fish!" No. So you are taking your time to explore other activities. This is something good when you don't have, for example, internet here. Yes. This is also use of technology in your classroom.
you can
Technology doesn't only yes.
You can customize it. You can,
Yes.
I was gonna
You
ask.
can create. You can. In fact, I have some, but I didn't have one for today's.
I have,
You have a module here,
Uh-huh.
quick play, and here, oh, it's propaganda. Here you have costume.
So you can insert the
You
word.
can
What
add
I
your
was
own
thinking, like,
words.
how you
So
connect
for
that
every
to the lesson.
for example, yesterday I was teaching a job interview class. I created the interview section. And they were playing with phrases, not only words. So for example here, get ready, and I put it here, and they begin. Yes? They can work in teams. And you can use the vocabulary from the book here to practice and review vocabulary. it's not necessary to use the laptop to include technology in your class. Last week, yes?
How do you play that? You mean you ask your students to tell you the definition and you guess the word, or you call
No,
one
they do
student?
it. I divide in groups, remember heads and tails.
Mm.
So this time is mixed groups, heads and tails together, mixed 2 heads and tails group. And they compete versus each other. So this group here will tell me, will help, and I will come here, one of you will come here, and we'll go with a cell phone, and you have to give me ideas. So one person of your group will have to guess. And if you guess 2 words, I write 2, and then I go to the other side and do the same. The group that wins will get chocolates, will get something, will get an applause, something. Yes?
And the application gives you only a minute for every group to guess. After the minute, do you...
90 seconds too.
90
There is
seconds.
like 90 seconds and a minute. They have time. You can select 60 seconds or 90 seconds to work. Yes. The game is called charades.
That's free.
We're going to use this application next week or next class in speaking. But the idea is asking you how would you introduce vocabulary in your class. Sometimes you say, oh my God, but I'm tired of telling them videos and videos and videos. Yes, videos sometimes are annoying. So this is really useful. You say, okay, let's play something. You want to play? Yes, miss, we want to play. Perfect. So let's go. And I add, in 5 minutes, I add all the words from the reader, from the Q Skills, any book. And I write them here. And I just like begin with this. And they play. The first one,
The first.
charades, yes.
Heads up is not.
Heads up, it's heavier, it's non-customizable, and you have to buy some modules. Charades is free.
Okay.
Yes?
So it's like
So that would be a good suggestion to adding new vocabulary in your class. There is also an application, well, it's not an application, it's a website that is online, and you can create this. It takes more time. It's called Quizlet. Yes? You can use your Facebook account for Quizlet. And you can have a list of vocabulary and words, free flashcards from other people, or you can create and collaborate and do your own flashcards. Yes? I have my own set of flashcards in Quizlet, but it took me a long time to perform and have like a list, a good list that I could use. But the thing is this, if you have your list, you don't have to do it again. You can anytime, they could also use them. Yes? And other people from the Quizlet zone could use your flashcards, and you can use other flashcards as well. Yes?
For the,
So,
sorry.
yeah.
For the reading and writing courses, all the units, all the readings have vocabulary
In Quizlet, yes. I have used Quizlet as vocabulary for reading and writing classes. It's really good. So instead of saying, okay, let's do the activity from the book. Okay, first let's do Quizlet. And you have options. You have the flashcard option, you have the learner option, you have the race. It's a game that you have to do it, you know. And there is also the one that says test. So you have multiple options for your students to practice. I was in vocabulary, yes. So that's the introduction of the pre-listening, and I was giving you ideas on how to introduce this vocabulary. You have police officer, lion, replied, zoo, and movies. So let's go with the while listening activities. Okay? Let's do the while listening activities. So it says direction. Please, Tony, read the directions for me.
Listen carefully to the joke your teacher would read called A Walk with a Lion.
Right, so for this purpose, I will pretend to be your teacher and I will read this. So listen, pay attention to what I'm going to read. You're only going to listen, do not take notes. Hands down, please. Hands down, heads up, like I tell my students. They're like, ready to write. I say, please, hands down. Hands down, heads up. Because okay, miss, I'm ready. And I say, how would you listen perfectly if your one ear is down and the other? Because I can listen, miss, the sound travels. I know the sound travels, but it's better if you have your 2 ears up than one down and one up. And they say, yeah, miss, you're right. Okay, so that is also preparation for listening. Now, listen to my story, hands down. A man was walking a lion down the street when they were stopped by a police. The police officer said, you shouldn't be walking that lion down the street. You need to take him to the zoo. The man replied, okay. The next day, the man and the same lion are walking down the same street. They saw the same police officer, and the police officer said quite angrily, I thought I told you to take that lion to the zoo. The man replied calmly, I did, and today I'm taking him to the movies. Okay? This activity is used for getting the main idea of everything. You're not listening to specifics, you're listening to the whole idea. So, what do you think about the joke? Is it funny?
Yes.
It's not like the cachos we tell in Guayabas, right? But it is a typical joke gringos could use, and that's the ones that we want them to be addressed with.
Gringos will laugh.
So, let's go with the next activity, direction number 2. You heard already the joke, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you any question right now. I'm going to get you to write. Miguel, please read instructions number 2. Direction 2.
Okay, direction 2 below, list the beginning events, the middle events, and the ending events of the joke. Draw or write events as you heard them in the boxes below.
Thank you very much. So, I want you to write one sentence for the beginning, one sentence for the middle, and one sentence for the ending of the event. What did you get from the joke? Please, let's write one sentence. The next step, what would it be? You already wrote your sentences. So what do I do as a teacher with that sentence that you have written?
To say a story.
Very good. To tell me the same story, but now using what?
Your own word.
Excellent, yes. So you will tell your story to your partner in your own words. Tell the joke, please, to the person next to you, according to what you wrote. Tell the joke to the person what you just wrote, please.
Okay.
Tony, work with me, with Mike, and Juanqui, work with Leo, and yes, let's work Carlitos and Jimmy and Miss and
What's a man?
Okay, tell me.
1 minute.
One day there was a man walking with he told the guy, send the lion to the zoo. The next day, the man was again walking the lion on the same street, and he heard the person was twice. The lion came and then the man walking the lion.
I heard that,
Man is walking across the street to the lion.
Time, thank you. So probably from my joke that was less than a minute, you made it longer. You try to explain things in your own words, so you made it longer than I used to. That is also expanding language. Yes? A listening activity never comes alone. It always comes with something extra. Listening generally is married to speaking, yes. But there are other ways to connect listening to reading, listening to writing. In this case, we did 3 things, well, 4. We did the 4 skills. You heard me, and you wrote down, you read, and then you spoke. The same things that you wrote, you discussed with your partner. How many minutes did it take? 3 minutes. And you're doing a multiple set of activities in 3 minutes with a joke. So it's not something boring or something that will take a lot of our time. The students love jokes. And it gives them like another sense of the teacher, not the one that is always like book, 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 and then class, 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 and then test, 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 but this is a teacher that tells me jokes, at least in English, but he tells me something. Yes? So let's go with the last part. Post-listening activity. Please, Juanqui, could you read for me post-listening activities?
Inference and humor. Are you a good joke teller? Practice telling a classmate your favorite joke. Listen to a classmate tell it.
Okay, perfect. So with your same pair, please, try to come up with a joke. Try to come up with a joke.
I know only the red one.
Oh, you know Pepito's joke?
No, Pepito's jokes.
So what would you do here that your students say, Andrea, but I don't know the joke. Like, what do we do? What do you do? You tell them, hey, but you just heard a joke. Come up with a variation. Come up with a variation of something that you have already heard. You don't know jokes? Okay, I'll tell you one about Pepito, because this is something my friend Leo told me in the elevator the other day. Yes?
expert jokes.
Yes? Yeah, Leo is so funny at telling jokes, he makes me all the time. So,
I know one about lions.
yeah, you do? Okay, so tell us the joke.
A guy got lost in the, no, two guys got lost in the jungle.
Uh-huh,
So they found a lion in front of them.
yes?
And they say, oh my God, we're lost. We're gonna die, the lion is gonna eat us. So in a minute, the lion began to kneel down and put the paws like this. And one guy said, hey, look, the guy is religious, he won't eat us. And the lion says, no, I always pray before I eat it.
You see? It's very funny, super funny, excellent, yes. Great, good job. You even applause me for Leo, very good job. Very good.
Yeah, to
So-
keep on with the same topic.
Yes, to keep up with the same, but sometimes, thank you Leo, because you're helping me with this test, but sometimes there are students that don't know any jokes or don't have a sense of humor. What do you do there? Tell them to change the joke they just heard because they know one, and tell them to change the animal, to use another animal or come up with another story, or if they heard something from Pepito and maybe a Gallegos joke, come up with a variation and force them to elaborate. The problem is they don't elaborate. They're used to having a structure, that's it, I finished. But they are not used to elaborating and producing language. And we want our students to produce language, especially in the levels, in the upper intermediate levels. So, here you go with the first activity we're going to have individually, each one with your own computers. This is the practical activity. Leo, please, can you begin reading?
Yes, practical material 1. The information from the textbook provided, create a pre-listening section for this unit. Take into consideration the 3 activities.
Okay.
1. Think about. 2. Predicting. 3. Vocabulary. Make sure you include at least one of these technological aids for your classroom.
You have charades, yes?
2. Thinking, Quizlet, Padlet.
Thank you. So, you have already received, yes, one for, already, okay, thank you. You have received this sheet of paper, and here you have ideas for free listening activities. Right now, with the unit that I just provided you, what is the name of the unit, Carlitos? Yes?
Goodbye to the sit-down meal.
That will be the topic that we will address today. Yes? So, what are you going to do? You're going to create free listening activities. 3. The first one, think about. If you see in your copies, what are options, Jimmy, for think about section?
Give an opinion,
Uh-huh.
share knowledge about a topic, look at photos, brainstorm a topic, talk about map, chart, photo, etc.
Okay? So, in your copies, you have a picture. Will you use that picture? Will you create a chart? Will you come up with another picture? Would you ask for opinions? This is a listening and speaking class, imagine. How would you begin today's class? Okay? And then, you have to come up with a predicting exercise. What would be options for predicting? Angel, can you read predicting?
For example, activities, connect, think about the vocabulary, predict from the title what will be said, and, study a character chart, and outline missing parts of a part.
Okay, how would you make them predict? Okay, and finally, vocabulary. I have given you here some apps. You can see Charades, it's for vocabulary. Quizlet is for vocabulary. Padlet, it's a website used for organizing ideas, making bulletin boards. It's very interesting because students can come up with more ideas. They have more creativity than us, definitely. ThinkLink, this is used for creating pictures. Putting pictures on the internet, and you can point signals, some key points to discuss. Okay, you can try it on right now as we are working. And YouTube, that you know this tool better than the others, and I do too. I love YouTube. It's my favorite tool. So you can use one of these technological aids for these activities. 1 or 2, I don't know. It depends. Let's read about options for vocabulary. What would be sample activities? Miss Hilda, please, could you read for me?
Okay, review vocabulary, match words with pictures or definitions, give words list, and ask the students for a short summary. True and false quiz.
All right. So there are options. With Quizlet, or no, I want to do charades for this vocabulary. So right now, please, I want you to use your laptops and come up with a plan of what would you do for the pre-listening activities. Okay? 3 pre-listening activities.
And what
One
else?
for think about, the one that you have there. Goodbye to sit down meals. Think about, predicting, and vocabulary. The topic today for everyone is goodbye to sit down meals. This is the theme. We're going to talk about meals. What else could we talk about? Meals, takeouts, meal takeout, restaurants. What else? Health? Should we include health here?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because junk food is not healthy.
Right, okay. So let's think about a pre-listening activity. I am going to assign you 1 hour? No, 10 minutes. So right now it's 12:59, let's say 1:10 please. I would like to see, we're not going to present yet. I would like to see what will be your pre-listening options. You can explore these tools if you like, okay? So let's take 10 minutes please. No, I just eliminated the quiz, so.
Oh, you eliminated that,
Yeah.
right? You cannot enter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's individual.
So you can work with synonyms and then you can address the synonym for that word. Right, but not necessarily with all the words. Some words, yes. So, yeah, for example, sometimes there are students that know, for example, the word, some of the words are very difficult. Yeah, phenomena will be a word that you will not use it, but sit down is something that has to be, because that is part of the unit's topic, yes? Yeah, right. And delicacies. So, you don't have to build up the class. You just have to give me an idea like the last time for the pre-listening activities. Yeah, you have to choose one of them, or you can create your own. Yes, these are only suggestions. Yes? If you would like a pen or something, I have plenty of them. If you would like to create something so creative, you can go ahead and do it. I think it will take you some time, but you can say, I am going to introduce my class with a creative assessment on Ecuadorian food. That's think about. Ecuadorian food. Yes. Yes? Okay. Yeah, it sounds nice. Yeah. Yeah, because that's not a regular reference for us. They will say like that. Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea, yes.
And they enter it ahead.
Yeah, so it's better because you don't have to complete all the information. In these tools that I have given you, in most of the cases they ask you for a Facebook account. So it's, you don't have to fill in all the registration information. Sorry to tell you this, but you have 8 minutes. time, you know, Tony.
Mhm.
For learning purposes, I really recommend you that most of the tools that I use and I show you, and generally the 21st century skills tools, always use a Google account. I'm not sure why. I think Google has a pact with the devil, but you should try getting a Gmail account. It's only a recommendation. You could still use your Hotmail accounts. But Google, it comes handy for everything. So basically, you will tell us by the end of these 3 lessons, we're doing number 1 only, how would you address the pre-listening activities and the 3 activities that you will do in the pre-listening. Maybe 1 discussion, maybe 1 activity that involves TPR, total physical response, where you tell them to run, to talk to your partner, to stand up, to get in groups, to... Yes, perfect. Yes, good job. Tony finished.
This is just simple.
Let's see here. Oh my God, you're gonna kill me.
Yeah, he's
The
got
first one.
But you're vegetarian, you shouldn't look at this.
Yeah, of course, I have another option to use a video with my students.
Right.
For example, at the delicacy could be like a.
Oh, it's a prime, very good, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's a time, so it only takes 1 minute, so.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and the second one, which was, no, prediction the language. Vocabulary, I'm gonna show you some flashcards too, and the last one prediction, we can use the same questions.
You're gonna do physical flashcards or flashcards from?
I'm gonna take them from the, yeah, I wanted to use Quizlet, but I'm new at that, so I think it will take time to get used to it. I think
Right.
in my case now.
Yeah, but you can come up with, you can go to Quizlet.
Okay,
And
fine.
go up,
I did
and go to the
brainstorming,
front of the
prediction,
And here,
reflection.
it's a Quizlet, you can find all of those flashcards.
Yeah,
Food,
yeah,
restaurants.
you will share.
Yes.
yes,
All in one, like that say.
It's what I would like.
Mhm.
Think about the pictures and try to guess these words that is in the picture.
Right?
And then for vocabulary, match the words with the meanings and say examples using the words.
Perfect.
And for predict, we're here. So probably show some pictures of food from different countries.
Right.
And I'm asking if they would like to try this dish.
That's excellent, because that's the exact topic, and you're using words from the vocabulary, yes, okay, good. And what are you, Leo, what do you have? Oh, okay, draw a picture. Alright, yeah. Uh-huh.
I was thinking of,
Usually when.
Oh, the old fashioned way. Yeah, try it.
Right.
In grades.
To introduce vocabulary. Uh-huh. And finally, predicting?
yes, guess, what do you think, some questions?
Oh, yeah, discussion. Excellent, yes, I like that idea. And the words in the vocabulary are good.
Okay.
What do you want to read this? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes, perfect. Yeah. Mhm.
You have learned before now.
But you know, my
Yeah, that's gonna be very difficult to describe, yes, good. What about you? What do you
I
have?
chose this one,
if you want to say, I guess, if you want, if you sort of
yes, think about it, okay? I came up with my opinion and a question.
For discussion.
Yeah, and then it comes in the video, my contribution, and then they give me, they take some better review, and I know, so they're thinking about.
Food, especially takeout?
Yeah, food habits.
Alright, okay, and the vocabulary, how would you address it?
No, I didn't address it, I only chose it, I thought it was one of them.
No, you have to do the 3 of them.
Okay.
This is okay, and how would you, just tell me how would you address vocabulary and how would you have them predict about what they will listen?
Yeah, yeah,
Take some time, no?
Think about it should be first, but predicting vocabulary can have different orders, yeah.
Good try.
Oh, so you're gonna work on that, okay?
Okay, no.
yes, no, I mean, I had.
What are we doing?
Give us a project.
Okay, or like that idea.
Exactly, for segment charades, review vocabulary in 1351, vocabulary, not really a word, but phrases. So, for
Oh, I
example,
like that.
the emphasis, translate, so they have to predict the golden rule, try to guess the golden rule. If there is no charades, can use
Yeah,
word.
because you're blind, they're getting the meaning from the comments. Yes, I like that idea, very nice idea.
And after the charades, the predictions, so what they will analyze from that, they predict on the release.
And they will deal about all the units, yes. Okay, I like that. I like the charades. Okay, guys, I already checked. I really like your ideas. You have great ideas. I could never come up with some ideas like yours, especially the food. It's like, it's a good topic today and this time of the day. Well, to move on, should you give me 3 minutes? To move on, I would like to show you some strategies. These are personal. These are not really from any textbooks. These are things that I always tell my listening and speaking students because they're always, I don't know, emotional, they're excited, they're in every sense of the way, but never focused. And for listening tests, you need to be focused. You need concentration. You need to remove distractions. So what could you tell your students in order to achieve better results in testing? This works for me. But I don't say like, okay guys, let's do listening. I say, okay, please, relax. Stop talking. Relax. Okay? Don't stare. They're staring at their paper. They're like this. And they're concentrated in something else. When you stare, you tend to go to other places that is not really there. You have to be aware of your environment. The thing is that when you're staring, you start thinking about your mom, about money, about how much money you have in Metrovia card, if you will have lunch right now or later, how much money is in your account, would you be paid today or the next week? Would your mom call you? Is your husband going to come home? Like, so many ideas. So we should stop staring, relax, stop talking. That's the first one. The typical comadres and compadres talking, not paying attention. You have to make that stop. Then tell them, please relax, breathe, let's make exercises, let's breathe. And they say, Miss, this is ridiculous. I know, but do it. It helps. Take oxygen to your brain. And then don't stare. Some of them are used to just looking, but they're not really looking. They're staring at the paper. You should look. Yes, if you want to look at the questions, it's fine. But don't stare at the paper, okay? Remove distractions. The typical coins in your pockets, the keys, cell phones. All that is a distraction. Imagine you're in the listening and your cell phone starts ringing. They start calling you. You forgot what they were saying in the listening part, especially in the tests. I'm talking about tests especially. Be patient. Sometimes they're talking and they don't answer your question that is in the paper. Be patient. You have to read. Dicen, Miss, ¿por qué no responden? No dicen nada de lo que yo quiero escuchar. Because they're listening for something specific. Okay? Listen to the tone of the voice. I forgot the word voice. This is important. And why? Because when you're speaking, you make emphasis in some words. And those words are special because probably they could be introduced as questions. They could be mentioned as answers. So you have to always pay attention to intonation. And practice with your students intonation exercises. So they don't speak in the one romantic level, but more like an English level goes up and down. English is like that. It has ups and downs. We will see that in the next section. And finally, listen for ideas, not just words. Some students just find, it says, what does the word, for example, delicacies mean? And they're looking for the word delicacy. And they forgot about the rest. So how do you do it, like to make them understand everything, to get the main idea, to get details, to go specific with something to infer? There are many clues to solve questions, but the most important part is to have them be focused, concentrated. It's very important to have your students concentrate in the activity. I really pay attention to the first three. I'm always very picky on these. And I don't let my students have cell phones on top of their desks while they're doing a test. Any test, but especially listening test. it kind of gets them out of control and they lose all their focus, all their attention. They're not experts, they're studying still. So they need to be completely concentrated. Now, I offer them the opportunity to read the questions but don't stare, or just listen. Like I told you, for me, listening is just, the while listening part should be only listening, not reading. Brain is very complex, but it's better, and it proves to be better if you just listen, okay? Listening and taking notes for more than 2 minutes is okay, but 2 minutes of listening, it's fine that they just listen. Now, the beginning will be difficult, but as time goes by in the course, you should see progress. Now, honestly and personally, I have them work in the laboratory when they're in listening and speaking classes. I take them to the lab to do practices, but not any practice, individual practices. And I tell them to listen to lectures and answer the questions after that. And obviously these websites that I have already provided you can help with the answers, they give you feedback. And if they are used to listening to lectures, getting the ideas, they will eventually improve their performance. When I take them to the lab, I give them a sheet of paper where they have to write the scores of what they do every day. And if they have less than 60%, they have to do one extra activity for every 60%. Because 60% is a mediocre grade. And the listening doesn't just finish there. Then when they go upstairs with me, I ask them, what was the lecture about? Because I tell them academic lectures. What is the lecture about? Oh, it was about zebras. Okay, zebras. And what about the zebras? Oh no, that the zebras are striped, blah, blah, blah. And okay, Juan, thank you. And what about you, Pepito? What do you think? Oh yeah, I heard that zebras are blah, blah, blah. So the listening doesn't end in the laboratory. It ends upstairs with a discussion. So they know more about zebras, things that I didn't even know. So you're doing everything like pre-listening, while listening, post-listening in the classroom, and you're having individual work. They're working individually. They're not working as a whole. That also helps, for example, if you're preparing your students for TOEFL. Yes? So, before you eat, we're going to eat, yes, of course. We're going to have a little activity called running dictation. And I am going to have 4 people in this class to be my volunteers. They're going to come here, okay? I'm going to take one by one, some of you out, and you're going to read this for me. Read this pieces, okay? Then you will memorize this and come here and tell your partners what is here. And they will take dictation. They will just copy, you will copy everything in a piece of paper. After that, we'll get all the things together, and then we'll see what was the outcome of this activity. This activity is more to get the students moving. It's more speaking. It's obviously, yes, some memorizing, but it's also listening, because students have to take dictation. Dictation is an important part of a listening and speaking class. There are 1,000 types of dictation. You have dictogloss, you have running dictation, you have communicative dictation that you learn with Dr. Nelson. That's my favorite. And there are many others. In my specialty is running dictation because it's different. And you can change the environment. Sometimes sitting down all the time is kind of stressing for students. We need them to be at ease, especially listening and speaking courses. So I'll go with the first volunteer. Who would like to be the first volunteer?
Tony.
Oh, Tony, perfect. Volunteer or victim. So then will be Jimmy. First Tony. I'm going on with Tony. Tony will come up here. Please be ready with a pencil or a pen and be ready to take notes. Tony will have 1 minute. He is preparing himself mentally for memorizing
Oh my God, you
2
got
sentences.
5 minutes for prepared mentally.
Yes. And you will be preparing yourself mentally to listen to this only once. So here it intervenes a lot your comprehension, not only about the teacher.
You gotta.
Tony will have 1 minute. He is preparing himself mentally for
Oh
memorizing
my God, you
2
got 5
sentences.
We can
5
stay here
minutes for
forever.
prepared mentally.
Yes. And you will be preparing yourself mentally to listen to this only once. So here it intervenes a lot your comprehension, not only about the teacher, because teachers are designed, we are designed, I'm sorry to say this, but God designed us to be teachers. But we are designed to speak in a very clear and understandable way. Yes? And when, well, Tony's a teacher, but when you have a student telling them, they're like, oh my God, I don't understand! Repeat, repeat, repeat! So that's when you practice this. Please, stop talking. Relax, breathe, and listen. Just copy. What do you do in dictation? How do you recommend your students to do dictation? I tell them, generally I tell them, hey, when your partner, or if I'm talking and I'm dictating, you repeat the words to yourself and then copy them. Because our short-term memory is short, super short. So it's volatile.
Yeah.
If you say, parangarigutirimicuero, and there is always one that says, parangat qué? And I'm like, you cannot repeat. But I didn't copy. Not my business. But if you repeat to yourself, you will get the ideas, okay? So what do you recommend in this activity? I will tell Tony to read the sentences. Every 3 or 4 words, he should stop to have you copy and then continue. But he will say it only once, okay? Ready, he will be ready now. Tony. Stop! I don't understand. I don't understand what I have to do.
It's hard,
Listen,
it's hard
Tony,
to memorize
Tony,
information, yes. Okay.
You will say this only every 3 or 4 words. You will stop, so they copy.
Okay.
You will say only once. If they say rather what? Oh my God! You're like my
You were playing outside with the cleaning guy.
He was playing. He was trying to read the food. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So listen. Every 3 or 4 words, make a pause. Have them copy. You remember to repeat for yourselves. Avoid distractions and relax. Every 3 or 4 words. Okay? Like a freshman 1 student.
Yeah.
Okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Only once. Do not interrupt. 1, 2, 3.
Rather than paying attention to every word, people think about what they need to understand. And look for that information. Listening for specific information quite similar.
You're cheating.
No, I know. To the reading skill of scanning.
Don't cheat.
I didn't remember that.
Okay. So please share with your partner next door. Share your notes to see if you're missing any word. Speak English. Share. Share together, yes?
What kind of dictation?
Running dictation. The thing is that you're not running, we're not working in groups. But if you're working in groups, I give the same group the same paper. And the group that finishes first, that's the winner. Yes, the thing is that, yes, they have to come back. Yeah, but we're not gonna do it. But yes, that's the running part. But I do it like more for us. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a thing to clarify. I have adapted this activity because the running dictation is when you put these on the board
And then you copy
and then the 2 groups, 1 member from each group runs to the board, reads, and then goes back to their group in their ear because the other group will hear. The group that finishes first wins. So every 2 minutes, I change the paper and put another one. And when they finish the whole paragraph, essay, anything that I have put, the winner will be the one that has the less spelling mistakes, the less, and they have the most words, etc., etc., etc. Okay? I just adapted this today because we won't be running. And we have a lot of cables here, so the activity was to aim to be running, but let's do it like normally. Now, the first paragraph talks about what? Who can tell me?
Repetition to the general message.
Very good, yes.
Instead of focusing on details.
Yes, correct. We're listening and talking about what? Listening for main ideas or listening for specific details?
For main ideas.
Listening for main ideas, correct. Now, this is the disambiguation. This is the next paragraph. I will have just one last victim, that will be Jimmy, and then the others I will read them for you, okay? Let's do another practice with Jimmy.
Good.
Jimmy, come.
Jimmy will make it better.
You have an extra napkin here.
Yeah.
Anthony never memorized.
Yeah.
He read from the paper.
I know, but the last sentence.
You,
No,
anyway,
you
you read.
read it the two last sentences.
Anyway, you read.
The last sentence.
If the student doesn't have good memory, for example, they can paraphrase what they just have read.
No, because they will, yeah, they have to.
Exactly.
Obviously, I select things that they have already seen. I'm not going to put them into reading a paragraph. They read sentences. Sometimes, for example, when I want to discuss a discussion question for the predicting or the think about pre-listening activity, I write the question and I say, okay, come, you're going to do the running dictation. So if they come, they read and then go, and when they finish with the same question they have just dictated their partners, we discuss the question. So we do many activities with one question. So it's not necessarily a fire. I just made it a little bit more challenging for us.
What do you say, no?
A little bit, I said. Just a little bit. Acceptably challenging. And I didn't make it run because in the running process you forget everything.
It's true. Some words fail there. Words fail.
You can cheat like Tony did. No,
No, try not to.
I will give you an extra napkin because you did better than Tony. I already know that. Okay, listen please to Jimmy. Avoid distractions. Tony, please your cell phone.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3. Every 3 or 4 words. Okay.
In real life, comma,
Toma, Tony, in your face.
Jack.
people always know why they are listening. Period. In class, comma, learners need to know that. Listening for a specific information is not understanding everything and using what you need. It is understanding what you need and catching that.
Okay, please discuss with your partner if you missed any word that Jimmy probably said and you didn't get it.
Always know why the list is why. Learners need to know that listening for specific information is not understanding everything. And use it with the need.
Okay, so it says in real life, people always know why they are listening. In class, the learners need to know too. Listening for specific information isn't understanding everything and using what you need. It's understanding what you need and catching that. Okay? So that is a paragraph from a specific details, listening to a specific details. Now, honestly, the problem with our students when they are doing a listening for specific details exercise. Their problem is that they're trying to translate word by word. That kills the whole activity process. How can we make, I would like to know your insight on this, so we can wrap up our class for now, the second session. How could we reinforce the L2 practice, the L2 use, rather than translation of L1 to L2, that means Spanish to English? How could we make or have our students not use the mother tongue too much in a listening exercise? How?
Encouraging them to associate the word with the context, so what's around, so probably they will get better understanding of what the word means, for example, what the word means, for example.
Right, thank you, Angel. Yes, that's a good idea. In fact, your exercise is basically about that. Getting the meaning from the context. Yes, that helps not to translate, because they translate because they don't know the word, and they want to know everything. Their anxiety is killing them, and they want to know everything. What else would be another good idea that you do in your class?
Have a backup word for it,
Yes.
every word.
A synonym?
Yes.
Synonym? Yes, correct. I like that idea. Synonyms always work with the students, always. We have to educate students not to look for definitions, rather to use synonyms. The thesaurus books. There are thesaurus dictionaries, because what they have is translators in their cell phones, but we should suggest thesaurus dictionaries for their cell phones. Okay? Those thesaurus include synonyms and antonyms. So from one word, you have 2 or 3 words that are similar that you could use in the same spot. Okay? How else could we avoid having our students translating from L1 to L2? What else? What would be
They have
another
to follow
idea?
the sequence of what they're listening, because when they listen to something, usually in parts. So instead of like have the whole attention to the whole thing, so like to follow the sequence.
Okay.
To get the message of each part.
You mean with transition words, Carlitos?
No, she
No, no,
said
like
that
the whole
order.
story?
The whole story, but little by little.
Okay.
Parts.
Get-
Not,
I like that
not
idea.
to concentrate on trying
the
to
whole
understand
thing.
but
Scaffolding.
by parts.
Scaffolding the listening activity? Yeah, it's a great idea. Scaffolding, yes? Making them in little pieces. Little pieces, little pieces, little pieces, but the whole turns out to be a whole listening activity. Yes. Tony, you have any
That's
ideas?
what you said. Tell them not to concentrate on words.
Yes.
That's-
It's
that's
just to
the
get
first,
the main
yes.
idea. Yes, correct.
But that training should be since the very beginning, because
Yes.
we have from freshman 1 that got a certain amount of listening activities, and I have seen, talking about observations, that the transition activities, it's not working a lot at all, because when you are finishing one activity, you go directly to the listening without doing any pre-listening activities like discussion, like presenting the heading, like presenting a similar story about what you're going to listen and get familiar with the vocabulary. So that's why the students tend to understand every word and translate it, and it, it blocks them in the moment of answering questions or choosing the right answer. So that's why, since we are here being challenged with other type of high-level activities for listening, we should also start thinking about from the very beginning levels, because those are roots that we need to cut out, because it's really hard to take them out from the changing channel mentally to say that, okay, time to translate, I have to catch up. I didn't hear the last word, because they are focusing on the words instead of the whole content. So that's the very clear idea, to extend a little bit what Andrea had said.
Okay. Well, so summarizing what you should do or what is recommended for listening for specific information exercises, how to do it and what to teach our students in order to get them prepared for a test. I generally don't give them algorithm like do first, second, third, but give them suggestions. Give them, allow them to do this according to what they feel more comfortable with. If they feel more comfortable taking notes, let them take notes. It's not recommendable, but there is always one student that takes notes and does better than the ones that do not. It's something that doesn't apply for everyone. Remember, we have different types of intelligences. So the visuals would be very likely to want to take notes. Well, So I tell them like, well, read the instructions, read the questions, make sure you understand what you need to listen. For example, the WH words in questions, if it's a why, I will listen for a reason. I will listen to everything, but pay attention and be more aware of the reason. If I say aware, I will listen for a place. Try to hear everything, but pay attention if they mention something about it. And then suggest them not to take notes and just listen. It's just a suggestion. You cannot force your students and push them to not to take notes. But yes,
Sorry for interrupting.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you going to send us that?
I
those
could
slides?
share this with you. Yes, no problem.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and the reading ones too. But I think the reading ones are all in the worksheets. But I could share this with you. Yes. So well, we're going to take a break now, Miss.
Yeah, please.
And after this,
Before.
I will share with you a video activity. We're going to do the laptops and finish the last two parts of the listening, okay? So let's wrap up here.